Turning now to section 2.3, we return to the schwa. In chapter 1, we introduced the difference between a vocal schwa, pronounced with a scooped sound, like the English word amuse, and a silent schwa, which has no sound value. To distinguish between a vocal or silent schwa requires the application of several rules. At first, these rules will require significant effort to carefully apply, but if you work now, they will eventually become second nature to you. The rules for when a schwa is vocal depend on the fact, as discussed in chapter 1, that each Hebrew syllable has one and only one vowel sound. First, then, that means that a schwa is vocal when it is placed at the beginning of a word, when it is placed on the first consonant of a word. So in Hebrew, b, ra, ka, the schwa on the bait must be vocal because otherwise the b, which begins a consonant, would have no vowel sound. Second, if a schwa is the second of two schwas that immediately follow each other, the second one must be vocal. In Hebrew, yik, talu, because yik forms a syllable, and each syllable begins with a consonant, lu must be a syllable. That means the tet must have a vowel sound on it to stand as its own syllable, meaning that the second of the two schwas on the t is vocal. Third, when the schwa is placed on a consonant with a dagesh forte, it will be vocal. For instance, Hebrew ma, m, ro, reem. This dagesh must be a dagesh forte because the mem is not a bagad kafat consonant. That means if you were to write the full word without the dagesh, you would have had mom, m, ro, reem. Notice then the first syllable is a closed syllable, mom. Reem is a closed syllable, consonant, vowel, consonant. Ro is an open syllable, consonant, vowel. And this mem must have a vowel sound to be its own syllable, meaning that this must be a vocal schwa. When you see a consonant with a dagesh forte and a schwa underneath it, that schwa must be vocal. And fourth, when a schwa is placed on a consonant that immediately follows a long vowel, it will usually be vocal. So for instance, Hebrew, sho, ma, reem. The long vowel sound creates a closed syllable. The schwa then must be vocal, and then the last syllable, reem, sho, ma, reem. Note in all four of these cases, the vocal schwa is the vowel sound in an open syllable. On the other hand, a schwa will be silent in the following circumstances. First, when it is placed on a consonant that follows a short vowel. Hebrew mitz, re is a two-syllable word. The vowel under the mem, the hirek, is short, and the schwa that follows it is therefore silent. Mitz, re. The first syllable then is a closed syllable, consonant, vowel, consonant. Second, a schwa will be silent when it is the first of two schwas that immediately follow each other. returning to the word yik to lu. The second of the two schwas was vocal, as we said earlier. The first is silent. It closes the syllable yik. So again, we have a closed syllable, consonant, vowel, consonant, and the schwa under the second consonant, in this case the kof, is a silent schwa. Third, a schwa will be silent when it is at the end of a word, even if it immediately follows another schwa. So this is the exception to the rule from the first part of this section. For instance, the Hebrew verb katalt, even though there are two schwas in succession, because the second is at the end of a word, it is also silent. This word is pronounced katalt. Note that in all three of these cases, then, the schwa is coming at the end of a closed syllable and is silent. Based on the fact that a silent schwa comes at the end of a closed syllable, while a vocal schwa will exist only in an open syllable, you can then have the following rule of thumb. Look at the vowel that comes on the letter before the schwa. If that preceding vowel is short, then almost always the schwa will be silent. In most other cases, that schwa will be vocal. For instance, the Hebrew word mish te is a case where you have a short hirek on the mem, therefore a silent schwa closing the syllable, mish te.